Hey guys, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. I hope you guys had a very nice holiday season and a very happy new year. I know it's a bit late, but here it is nonetheless. My review of Season 1 of The Orville. And that's how we're going to start off 2018. Be warned, it's not exactly all positive. I say this because a lot of you guys seem to have enjoyed the show's first season, and my opinions might be a little different, but that's fine. You have your opinions, and I have mine. In any case, we'll probably both be watching Season 2 as it comes out anyway. Okay, let's go. I'm a Seth MacFarlane fan. Of him, the person. I think he's funny, I like his singing, I like his voices. Overall, I think he's a very talented person, and Family Guy is, in my opinion, a great show. That being said, as much as I enjoy him as a person, I find myself having trouble with most of his other projects. The Cleveland Show, An American Dad pale in comparison to Family Guy, Ted, A Million Ways to Die in the West, Blunt Talk, I don't know. None of that clicks the same way Family Guy does. So, going into The Orville, I already had my doubts. But The Orville isn't just comedy. It's drama and science fiction, which are, to some certain extent, new for Seth MacFarlane. So naturally, I thought maybe this would be different. But the truth is, it's not. I'm sorry to say this, but the spark of genius behind Family Guy is very hard to find when it comes to The Orville. However, although that is how I feel now, it is the show's first season, and a lot of shows grow and mature as the seasons go by. Which means I'm not prepared to dismiss The Orville just yet, especially considering some things truly did get better as the season progressed. The humor, for one. It started off really shaky. I get the objective is to use the comedy to ground the show, have it all feel more relatable even though it's science fiction, but some of those first episode jokes were really cringy. I even got to that awkward moment when you feel embarrassed just sitting there listening to the joke as it drags on for what seems like forever. It's around episode 7 that the humor really starts getting better. Not all of the jokes land, and by no means was I dying of laughter, but often I found I had a smile on my face. The acting also got better. Everyone grew into their roles as they got accustomed to each other and their respective characters, with the exception of, and I'm sorry to say this, Sage. I've never seen her in anything else, so I don't know how she usually performs, but her Alara is horrible. I just can't take her seriously. She was trying to sell us the fact she's alien, with super strength. She has issues. None of that worked for me. Hopefully she'll be able to make the character work better in the next season, and this was just a misstep. As I was saying though, for the most part, it was all improvement. Bordis, Lamar, Malloy, those characters became a lot more interesting over time as the actors made the characters their own. Some things, sadly, were not good and stayed not good from episode 1 to 12. The main thing being Captain Mercer and Commander Grayson's relationship. I somehow feel like that was the original joke, that's where the whole show came from. Someone one day said, hey, imagine if your ex-wife was your first officer. And granted, it sounds funny, but as this season has shown us, it's just one of those ideas that works in theory but not in practice. It got really old, really fast. It kind of died off at one point and the characters were at a nice place, but then it came back hard in episode 9 when they implied that the whole cheating thing might not have been her fault. Ugh. I really do hope they just move away from that whole story in Season 2. It is one of the things dragging the show down. Those back and forths they have, the bickering, it's not funny, it's annoying. Seeing them get back together and ultimately break up again would really do the show a disservice. The Krill, also. I don't like the Krill. They were alright in the pilot, I guess, but then we got an entire episode on board one of their ships and it was just not very interesting. I'm not a fan of who they are, how they are. They don't scare me, I don't hate them, I don't like them. And the worst thing is, come episode 11, they were only used as an excuse to get the Orville to go into the anomaly. They don't feel like the bad guys, they feel like a plot device. Which, in an interesting way, compares a lot to how I feel about the Klingons in Discovery. It would seem that these overarching enemies aren't as interesting as the subplots that we have going on in the series. Some of the sets weren't very good, they felt cheap and small, not the hero ship, no. The actual Orville is great, no complaints at all there. The bridge is awesome, the crew quarters are nice, I love engineering. I'm talking about the Krill ship, for example, where the characters switch between the same 2 rooms running through the one small corridor. At times it almost felt like one of those cheap Disney TV series sets. Nothing has texture or substance. They don't transport you to the place where you believe it's all real. You know you're looking at something fake, which is not at all the case for the props, costumes, and makeup. Because yes, there are some things that I greatly enjoyed in The Orville from start to finish. All of the props are believable, well designed. The costumes are great as well. And the makeup, oh my god. The Navarians and Bruidians from episode 9 were fantastic. Actually, every alien race was awesome throughout the season. The music is really great as well. I know it doesn't feel as cinematic, as grandiose as, say, Star Trek Discovery, but I still love it. Not just the opening theme, but the music in general. There's a hopefulness resonating in every piece. All the guest appearances were awesome as well. Not just the big actors like Charlize Theron or Liam Neeson, but people like Rena Owen, Ryan George, Robert Nepper. They're not only talented actors, they're also familiar faces, so it's nice to have them pop up here and there. Granted, the CG isn't amazing. It's not bad, it's just not necessarily very good. Nor are the stories, to be honest. Sometimes the pacing is off, sometimes the way they tackle the theme is kind of awkward, sometimes the episodes were just plain boring. But, and I know this is going to sound kind of stupid, the show has a good heart. It means well. Which means all of the issues I've talked about can be fixed. It's all minor course corrections. The show doesn't need to change entirely. I suppose the conclusion I've come to doesn't really help you at all, because in the end what I'm trying to say is the Orville has potential. Lots of it. In fact, it could seriously become a great television series, but it's gonna need some work. If you haven't seen the first season yet, there's really nothing more I can say other than give it a try. A lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. It's really one of those things where you have to see for yourself. I will actually finish this off by saying I do have one major issue that I hope will be resolved very quickly, and this is more so addressed to the people that actually have seen the show. The Orville blurs the lines between being inspired by and copying. Yes, the go-to in this argument is Star Trek, more specifically The Next Generation. The resemblance between the two is uncanny, but it's not just that. The best episode of The Orville is hands down episode 7, Majority Rule. But is it really a The Orville episode, or is it just a cheap remake of Black Mirror's Nosedive? And so for those who have seen this first season, I leave you with a question rather than a conclusion. At this point in time, does The Orville even have its own identity? Some would say The Orville to Star Trek is no different from Galaxy Quest to Star Trek, but I would argue it's completely different. Galaxy Quest was about washed-up actors that used to play in a Star Trek-like TV series. It's very meta. Whereas The Orville, jokes aside, takes itself very seriously. It's science fiction. It wants to be its own thing. It's showing us a possible future. But somehow it seems like it's grasping at other people's ideas to get to where it is. Most of the themes are just recycled ideas from TNG or TOS. And as I said, even Black Mirror. And I don't know how I feel about that. Is The Orville its own thing? Or is it just a comedy mashup of what already exists? Okay, there you go. I know I bashed on the show a lot, but I am looking forward to season 2. I've become very fond of the characters, and I would be sad to see it cancelled. It's not perfect, but I suppose not a lot of shows are perfect. What do you think? Have you seen it? Will you be watching it? Did this review help you make up your mind, or has it just left you more confused than ever? Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and live long and prosper.